The anime starts when a dimensional gate suddenly appears in Giza District, Tokyo. From this gate, fantasy creatures and armies of Roman Empire come into the city. It is then dubbed by the Ginza incident. Itami Yuji, a Japanese self-defense force reserve, is heading to attend an anime event in Ginza District, Tokyo. Suddenly, a gate links to the other dimension starts to open, where mythological creatures that are led by Mean in Roman armor appear and attack the people with terrorism. Itami, who is nearby, takes action by organizing the police to evacuate the civilians into a palace to protect them before the Japanese self-defense force arrives to stop the invaders, which is thought to have originated in the Middle Ages. Due to his actions, he was praised by the Minister of Defense and is promoted to First Lieutenant and celebrated as a national hero. The Ginza incident prompts the incumbent Prime Minister to take action by proclaiming Japan will send a JSDF task force backed by the US to the special region, the world beyond the gate. After 3 months of preparation, the new Prime Minister sends off the JSDF task force, JTI, to their mission to the special region, the world beyond the gate. After finally arriving, the Imperial troops have been waiting for their arrival and are prepared for battle. In the battle, the JTI troops easily defeat the Imperial troops from at Alness Hill, and as a result, the Empire has to lose 60% of its military strength. In anticipation, Emperor Molt then forms an alliance with the armies of the Empire's tributary states to carry out attacks on the JTI forces, even though he is aware that such attacks will be pointless and will only result in heavy casualties. This is in fact a move planned by the Emperor to prevent the tributary states from taking advantage of the Empire's weakened military. Later, the Alliance army, which consists of 300,000 soldiers, prepared to attack the JTI army, which only numbered 10,000. However, they didn't see any JTI soldiers. Suddenly, a direct missile attack flattens the Alliance troops in the foremost position. King Duran then withdraws his troops and arranges a strategy against the JTI troops that night. However, their horses crash into the thorn fence when they are about to ambush the JTI troops, followed by a barrage of gunfire. Hearing the news of the Alliance army's defeat, Emperor Molt feels a bit relieved that there is no longer any threat to the Empire. He then sends off his daughter, Pina Soluta, to Alness to observe JTI troops' movement. Meanwhile, Itami is assigned to lead the Recon unit, created to survey the nearby cities and points of interest. After passing by the village of Koda, the unit finds a massive fire dragon burning the nearby forest and then attacking and destroying the settlement inside the forest. While looking for survivors, Itami finds an elf woman named Tuka Luna Marceau, who is unconscious inside a well. The Recon unit then brings the woman with them to the Koda village. After finding out the presence of the fire dragon, the villagers of the Koda village decide to evacuate as well, assisted by Itami and the unit. The villagers in the unit then later join two mages, Lilela Lilina and her master Kedo. Taking heed of the situation, a group of bandits decide to attack the villagers just to be vanquished by Rory Mercury, an apostle of the god of death. Later, Rory goes to join Itami's party and the refugees. However, the fire dragon suddenly appears and attacks them, killing many villagers. Itami's party attempts to fire the dragon, but to no avail, until they fire a missile attack and get to hurt the front legs of the dragon and urge the dragon to retreat and flee. After that, some of the villagers decide to go to the other city, while the rest will be staying with Itami, heading back to JTI troops base, including Rory, Lily, and Tuka. Arriving in Alness Hill, the base of JTI troops has changed into an advanced development, which Itami gets an authorization to provide shelter for the refugees. Meanwhile, Princess Pina goes to seek King Duran, who is severely injured from the previous battle. King Duran tells her how sophisticated weapons the JTI troops have. Moreover, he considers that the Empire was the real enemy for deliberately sending them off into a battle that was impossible to win. Princess Pina is shocked to hear King Duran's statement. She is clueless about the plan that her father had decided to cause many casualties. Princess Pina goes on to continue her investigation and heads to the city of Italica, which is adjacent to Alness Hill. Meanwhile, at Alness Hill, Tuca, Lily, and Rory collect the scales of the dead dragon they defeated. It is known that the scales have a very high resale value. Later, Atami's unit departs for the city of Italica to sell the dragon scales. Atami's party arrives in Italica just as the city's troops, led by Princess Pina, fend off the attack from the bandit troops, who are actually the Alliance troops who betrayed the Empire after losing the battle in Alness Hill. Princess Pina and her troops manage to repel the bandits. Princess Vina is a little worried when she spots the Jete troops' vehicles approaching, and as she sees Rory, she assumes they are not a threat. Later, Atami's unit and Pina's army team up to deal with the bandit army's follow-up attack. According to Princess Vina's plan, Atami's unit is stationed at the southern gate wall, which is not heavily guarded by the city's troops. Even though Atami realizes that their placement is intended to be used as bait, but he does not seem to mind as he wants to prove that the Jitai troops could be co-opted without clashing one another. That night, the bandits attack Italica again. However, rather than going for the south wall, they attack the east. The defenders are caught off guard and are quickly killed. Seeing the bandits breaking into the city, Princess Pina starts to feel scared and worried about her troops. Seeing Princess Pina and her troops are being pushed down, Atami's party head to the eastern gate to help them. Atami also calls Jite troop headquarters to send them reinforcement. They immediately send several helicopter units to the location point according to Atami's direction. The helicopters then attack and finish off the bandits outside the gate, while Atami and his unit fight inside the gate until they manage to defend the city of Italica and finish off all the bandits. Princess Pina is amazed with the flying iron horse that was able to kill hundreds of enemies in just a second. She then realizes that the power of the Jitai troops should not be underestimated. After the battle ends, Lily sells the dragon scales to the Italican merchant. After that, Atami makes a temporary peace treaty with Princess Pina so that there will be no war between them on the grounds of defending their respective sovereignty. When Atami's unit is on their way back to the Jitai base, they are ambushed by the Rose Order of Knights of Princess Pina. The order immediately restrains Atami, and to avoid further conflict, Atami orders his unit to leave immediately without having to fight. Meanwhile, Atami is brought back to Italica in a battered state. Princess Pina gets angry and reprimands Bose's co-Palesti for capturing Atami. Princess Pina is worried that the Jitai troops would use the incident as an excuse to attack them for violating the treaty. While Atami is still under treatment, Rory, Lily, Tuca, and Atami's unit sneak back to Italica to save Atami. Tuca uses sleep magic on all of the guards, and as Atami's unit enters a room, they see Atami living comfortably and being pampered by the maids. They then organize a small socialization party. On the other hand, Princess Pina tells Boses to immediately apologize to Atami, even though she has to serve him. However, as Boses sees him having fun, she suddenly gets angry and slaps him again. Princess Pina feels guilty even more by the incident, and she tells Boses to join Atami's unit heading back to Alness Hill to apologize to Atami's superior for her actions in person. Arriving at the Jitai headquarters, Princess Pina and Boses get to see the Lieutenant General Hazama and clear up the misunderstanding. Pina apologizes for her knight's harsh treatment of Atami, which is taken in stride. Hazama thanks her for serving as a mediator between Japan and the Empire. Later, Atami invites Tuca, Rory, Lily, Princess Pina, and Boses to come with him to Japan through the Dimension Gate to meet with the Japanese Parliament as representatives of the special region. Atami and a group arrive in Tokyo, where Lily, Princess Pina, and the others are awed by the grandeur of Tokyo and its dense population. After meeting the public security agent named Komikado, Atami, Rory, Lily, and Tuca head to the Japanese Parliament. There, they are interrogated by the chairman of the investigation committee about the Fire Dragon attack and allege that the Jitai troops have failed to protect the refugees from the Fire Dragon attack. Rory, Lily, and Tuca defend the Jitai forces, telling how the Japanese soldiers helped saving many lives from the Fire Dragon. It is known that the parliamentary meeting is broadcasted live, which is also witnessed by the United States, China, and Russia. Meanwhile, Princess Pina and Boses meet the members of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to discuss details regarding the forthcoming peace agreement.
の襲撃を受けた際、して戦うべきだった人間が犯人を危険にさらしたので、話してください。あなたが本当の姿を。
あなたおバカ？
今
お嬢ちゃん。
Afterwards, Atami's party, Princess Pina, and the others reunite in the subway to escape from the press, as well as the mysterious group that seems to be targeting the Special Region girls due to Komikado leaked their itinerary. Atami alters the plan and takes the girls to stay over at his ex-wife's house. There, Atami explains the matter to his ex-wife, Risa. Risa states she will help them out. Meanwhile, Atami meets the Minister of Defense named Taro, who instructs him to take guests from the Special Region to a hot springs inn which is heavily guarded by SFG's special forces under the command of a colonel along with the Minister of Defense. While Atami's group is staying at the inn to rest, America's Black Operations forces arrive, planning to kidnap the girls. While the Japanese special forces are trying to intercept the American troops, the Japanese Prime Minister receives a threat from the President of the United States, as he is known to have committed corruption, and so that the case would not be leaked, the President urges the Prime Minister to withdraw the troops that currently guarding Atami's group. Left with no choice, he agrees only to remove the guards. As the American troops move towards the inn, they run into Russian and Chinese troops who also share the same interests. The exchange of fire between the three black operative teams occurs and is resulted with quite a large number of soldiers dead at the scene. Elsewhere, Rory's desire has peaked and she straddles Atami and begs him to make love to her. But suddenly Atami's phone is ringing, preventing them to go further. Rory vents out her frustration by fighting all the troops, leading the four-sided fight ensues, and she finishes them off. Atami and his party leave the inn. Risa is worried that foreign agents may come to attack them again. Thus, she posts a news on the internet, informing that the girls of the Special Region will be in Ginza by tomorrow. It is intended to cause a crowd in the city that certainly will prevent the agent to attack them. Finally, they arrive in Ginza and are welcomed by the citizens. At the same time, many reporters reveal about the kidnapping attempt on the previous day through breaking news on TV. As a result, the presidents of the United States, China, and Russia, who previously attempted to kidnap the girls, decide to call off their operatives. After bidding goodbye and bestowing honor at the Ginza Memorial Site, the girls of the Special Region finally return to the Jitai headquarters beyond the gate. Realizing the war between the Empire and Japan will lead to annihilation to them, Princess Pina then decides to return to the capital and arrange a peace agreement between two parties. 5 months after the Dimensional Gate opened, the Alnus refugee camp develops into a town and a trading hub from Japan. At the capital, Pina introduces Kauji Sugawara from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to Lord Cicero, one of the most important nobles from the empire, and obtains his cooperation with the peace talks. Returning back to Alnus, Tuka is still looking for her father. She cannot accept the fact that her father actually is already dead. As Atami and his friends discuss about it in a tavern, Mary claims that they must make her face the truth, but Atami objects, since they cannot be responsible for her forever. Later, a dark elf woman, Yao Hadusi, arrives and requests to the Jitai headquarters to help her clan from the Fire Dragon's assault. General Hazama tells her they cannot fulfill her wish as her village is away in the deep of the forest that is situated in Eld Kingdom and beyond the Empire border. As Japan is currently in the peace talk with the Empire, sending off the Jitai troops over the outskirts will be assumed, declaring war and reigniting war conflict. Feeling sorry for Yao, Lieutenant Akira Yanagita suggests that she asks Atami's unit for their help. On the other hand, Atami and his subordinates are delivering the goods from Japan to Princess Pina as a part of their plan that peace negotiation will be successful. Before heading back to Alnus, Atami gives Princess Pina several manga books, which unknown to her, contains newspaper clippings of Atami's heroic actions. On his way to the base, he hopes for peace between Japan and the Empire. However, Lily states the war is far from over. At the imperial capital, the private banquet that is organized by Princess Pina is attended by a group of senators and their families led by Lord Cicero. It is seen that Atami is attending the banquet as well. After looking at the demonstration of the third recon weapon, the imperial family have come to their sense that it will be pointless if they fight against the Jitai troops. Lord Cicero then attempts to talk about the peace negotiation. However, the crown prince, Zorzal, Princess Pina's older brother, is seen heading to the banquet venue with his guards. Afraid that Zorzal may disagree with the peace negotiation, Atami's unit begin to take the senators away from the venue so that they will not be suspected of being traitors. The scene switches to Akusho village, where the demi-human clans live. Lord Besala rebels against a group of Jitai forces that is assigned to the region. The following day, the birds and the other animals, such as the cats and the dogs, seem panicked, followed by the inhabitants who state that it is a sign of an impending earthquake. Jitai force begins to inform the residents to extinguish the flame and evacuate them to the field. The earthquake then hits the district until the capital city. Princess Pina freaks out and asks Atami and Sugawara how they can maintain calm down. Atami then explains that earthquakes are an ordinary thing in Japan. Princess Pina then invites them to meet her father, Emperor Molt, to advise them how to handle earthquakes. As they meet with Emperor Molt, Zorzal also arrives to warn his father of another earthquake coming that is told by his slave, Noriko. He harasses her and states that she is a slave who was a Japanese citizen he captured from beyond the gate. Learning that Noriko is a Japanese girl, Atami gets angered and he punches him. As Zorzal's guards are about to strike, Shino finishes them off by himself and beats Zorzal. Before leaving the palace, Sugawara warns Emperor Molt that they will face consequences if they don't hand over any other Japanese citizens they had taken prisoner. At the same time, Jitai Air Force launches airstrikes on the Imperial Senate building as further warning about the temporary peace. Meanwhile, one of Zorzal's slave, Chuol, treats him. Chuol's brother, Dabo, is also present, telling him that most of the Senate desires peace, which means surrender. Meanwhile, Noriko has just arrived at the Jitai headquarters and immediately gets treated, and they find out that her parents are already dead in Ginza incident. Elsewhere, Tuka continues to search for her father. She still doesn't know that her father is already dead when the fire dragon assaulted her village. At the capital, Dabo and Pina learn that Zorzal has officially made heir to the throne, chosen by their father. They are afraid if Zorzal becomes the leader of the empire. They don't realize that all this time Zorzal is being manipulated by Chuol, who is trying to take revenge on the empire by continuing to persuade Zorzal to insist on not making peace. Meanwhile, Atami is concerned about Tuka's condition, who is delusional and refused to accept the fact that her father has died. Therefore, Atami is forced to pretend to be her father. However, Tuka's mental state is still disturbed, making Atami keep thinking about her condition. One night, when Atami is seen daydreaming, King Duran of the Eld Kingdom, who is currently recovering at the Jete refugee camp, comes to suggest that he avenge Tuka against the fire dragon that had killed her father. The next day, Atami asks supplies to Yanagita for a mission to kill the fire dragon for a week, where he will be accompanied by Tuka, Lily, Yao, and Rory. However, Rory asks Atami that she can bite him, stating that if he dies, his soul will remain hers. The next scene shows a girl from the Rabbit clan, Delilah, who works at the bar at Alnus refugee town, receives orders from under the name Princess Pina that she is to assassinate Noriko. Unbeknownst to her, the letter is actually from Chuol, who is the former queen of Rabbit Warrior clan. Apart from that, when General Hazama learns of Atami's mission to Elb, he forms a task force to help him fight the fire dragon. Later, Yanagita and King Duran make agreement to allow the Jitai unit to cross the Eld Kingdom. Returning to Noriko, who is in despair of her dead parents, is suddenly approached by Delilah, who intends to kill her. However, her plan fails when Yanagita comes and fight her, and they end up fall unconscious from blood loss. While Yanagita and Dalila get medical treatment, the Jitai soldiers investigate Dalila's assassination attempt. With the help of the formal clan, the Jitai soldiers find out that the assassination warrant was forged by Zorzal's faction, and in order to obtain more information, one of the Jitai soldiers named Keitoshi is sent to disguise himself as a cook in the imperial capital, where he gets a job from Zorzal. On the other hand, two fighters encounter the fire dragon in the sky. However, they haven't launched the strike yet. Instead, they intend to collect the data related to its thickness of the skin and its speed. Meanwhile, Atami's group have reached Yao's homeland. When Yao is about to gather her clans, Atami and the others get surrounded by a group of the Dark Elf village guards. Suddenly, the fire dragon appears. Atami, Rory, Lily, and the clans of Dark Elf attempt to fight the dragon with all their might. While the others are fighting against the fire dragon, Atami tries to assure Tuka that the dragon was the cause of his father's death and guides Tuka to fire a missile so that the fire dragon flies away. After successfully driving away the fire dragon Atami's group spends the night in the Dark Elf village and meet with the leaders of the village. There they set up a plan to attack the fire dragon's lair that is situated in a mountain. Before leaving for the fire dragon's lair, Atami teaches the Dark Elf clan how to use modern weapons. Then they start their journey with Tuka is still asleep. Upon arriving at the entrance of the fire dragon's lair, Atami tells Rory to guard the entrance while he and the others heads into the former volcanic crater which becomes the fire dragon's lair. There are hundreds of ancient swords left by former people who fought the fire dragon. There are also the traces of the hatched fire dragon eggshells. Later, Atami and company plant a fragmentation bomb under the fire dragon's lair using a C4 bomb. While the installation is still going on, the fire dragon comes towards its lair. Rory attempts to contact Atami but receives no confirmation. Next, the fire dragon arrives at its lair and kills most of the Dark Elf clan. As the battle rages on, Tuka finally awakens and accepts that his father is dead from the fire dragon's attack. He then uses her magic to trigger lightning and sets off the bomb that eventually kills the fire dragon. When Atami and his group escape from the ruins, they find Rory badly injured after fighting Giselle, who was sent by God to bring Rory back. Atami had wondered why Rory could lose and get injured, and Giselle then explains that Rory had previously replaced or moved the injury that actually would occur to Atami. Giselle also reveals that she was the one who awakened the fire dragon all this time and raised her two children to defeat Rory. Just as Giselle orders her two fire dragons to chase after Atami and group, the Jitai fighter planes come attacking them. This forces Giselle to finally retreat after her two dragons were killed. Back to Alnus Hill, where Atami is scolded for acting out of the orders. Even so, he is also given a number of awards for his heroic actions that managed to kill the fire dragon. The next mission, Atami, Lily, Rory, Tuka, and Yao are assigned to search for resources in a magical city called Rondel. In the city of Rondel, Lily plans to hold a presentation to her fellow mages, and if she succeeds, she will be granted the rank of master. Here, Lily also meets her sister named Lilina while visiting a magic academy. Meanwhile, in the imperial capital, the peace talks between Japan and the Empire officially starts today. But Zorzal seems to have no respect for the guests and goes to meet his friends. He feels annoyed and does not accept the peace talks. As everyone celebrates the death of the fire dragon, Emperor Molt is excited to find that Lily is an imperial citizen who was involved in defeating the fire dragon. The Emperor then tells Princess Pina to invite Lily to the palace to receive the award. However, Emperor Molt suddenly falls unconscious after drinking wine, which was secretly poisoned under Chul's order, causing a commotion in the palace, and the peace talk is postponed. Due to the incident, Zorzal takes over the throne and expresses his wish to fight against Jitai unit. Secretly, Chul feels easy that her plan comes to fruition. Afraid with Zorzal's leadership, Diabo decides to leave the palace to look for reinforcements from other countries to overthrow Zorzal. Meanwhile in Rondel, a magic teacher, Mimosa, reveals something to Atami's party about the dimensional gate. She reveals in every generation, the gods of the special region will open the dimensional gates to the other worlds, which is centered in Alnus, where the races from the other world will come and stay, explaining why they have various races living in this world. After that, Lily's sister gets angry as she learns that her sister has rivaled her in all field. Thus, they decide to fight to prove who is superior, and end up tied as they have equal power. All of a sudden, someone comes and is about to kill Lily, but is stopped by Gray. Gray and the other Knights of the Rose Order reveal to Itami's party that the murderer was sent by Zorzal due to his jealousy towards Lily's fame in defeating the Fire Dragon, and they come to protect Lily under Princess Pina's order. General Hazama orders Jitai force to stand guard for 24 hours to anticipate the attack from Imperial troops, as currently Zorzal Extermination Unit is looking for a pro-peace faction that is considered a traitor. In Sherry's house, there is a leader of the pro-peace faction called Castle. When Zorzal's Extermination Unit come to her house, Sherry's parents tell their daughter and Castle to leave the house immediately. Sherry and Castle manage to escape, but their parents are burned to death along with their house. Then Sherry and Castle went to the Japanese Embassy Palace to ask for help from Shogawara, where the palace is under the protection of the Rose Knights with an agreement that the Imperial side could not cross the boundary line. Although Siri hopes that Shogawara, whom she sees as her future husband, will help them, Shogawara remains obedient to his country's orders not to get involved. Even so, when Zorzal's men arrive and capture Castle and Sherry, Shogawara changes his mind and tells Sherry to enter the palace area, resulting in a brutal battle between the Rose Order Knights and Zorzal's men. In this battle, the Knights of the Rose Order manage to drive out Zorzal's men and free Senator Castle. This causes tensions between Japan and the Empire to escalate that Minister Kanao and other members of the government suggest evacuating the Japanese delegation from the Embassy Palace. Prime Minister Morita refuses the idea because representatives from other countries are visiting the special region and the headquarters of the Jitai troops in Alness. This refusal is intended to prevent bad diplomatic consequences for Japan. But things turn bad when Zorzal arrests Princess Pina because her Rose Order Knights protected the Empire's traitors. Zorzal also sends his troops to surround the Japanese embassy. This situation leads Prime Minister Morita to allow the deployment of Jitai unit to fight and protect the embassy palace, although the decision is too late because Shogawara has been captured by the Imperial troops. The scene switches to the city of Rondel. When it is Lily's turn to present for her master title, someone jumps to kill Lily, but is intercepted by the magicians there. Unexpectedly, the second person tries to stab Lily, but cannot penetrate the iron protective armor she is wearing. Her name is Shandy. Apparently, she is Princess Pina's subordinate who admits that she is ordered by Zorzal to kill Lily with a guarantee that Princess Pina can be released from Zorzal's custody. At the same time, Vina is held in prison in a handcuffed position. After hearing information from Shandy, Atani's group decides to return to the Imperial capital while the Jitai unit mobilizes massive forces to carry out the operations to the capital. The Jitai unit begins their attack on the Imperial capital, aiming to rescue the pro-peace faction including the Rose Order Knights, as well as the ambassador from the Japanese Embassy Palace. Witnessing Jitai unit's power, Zorzal gapes in fear. Zorzal's troops try to block the attack, but modern weapons break down the Imperial Army's defenses. At that time, some of the Jitai troops manage to evacuate the refugees, including prisoners from the pro-peace faction and Shogawara. However, they are not able to free Princess Pina because it is heavily guarded that it is difficult for Bozes to save her, while Jitai troops have to immediately rescue the other prisoners. Not long after that, the helicopters from Atani's unit arrive at the capital and rush towards the Imperial Palace to rescue Princess Pina. At the Imperial Palace, Atami's group meet his unit, where they devise a strategy to sneak into the palace. Atami disguises himself as a cart trader and manages to enter the palace. Meanwhile, Princess Pina is dragged into the throne room and is tried to be a traitor. Before anything bad happens to Princess Pina, Atami's unit breaks into the throne room. Zorzal then orders the ogre monster to attack them, but Rory and Lily successfully paralyze the monster, and it forces Zorzal to hand Princess Pina over to them. Before leaving, Atami threatens to kill Zorzal if he still hurts others and continues to deal with the Jitai forces. After rescuing Princess Pina and Emperor Molt, Atani's unit leaves the Imperial Palace. Emperor Molt decides to make Princess Pina the successor of the throne, even though it will cause a civil war among his children. Zorzal and his men leave the Imperial capital. Zorzal swears that he will take revenge on Japan. However, Jewel somehow feels blue even though she has reached her goal to ruin the Empire. 10 days later in Italica, Princess Pina is crowned the Imperial Crown Princess. Princess Pina promises she will bring peace between the Empire and Japan. Apart from that, Shogawara agrees to marry Sherry. Yanagita and Dalila, who are previously rivals, now become a couple. Meanwhile, Atami missed out Princess Pina's coronation as the Imperial Crown Princess only to attend the anime event in Ginza. However, he is frustrated to find Lily, Tuka, and Rory continue following him around, causing a crowd of the fans of the Special Region Girls. Thank you, viewers who have always faithfully watched the videos on this channel from start to finish. Remember to subscribe, comment, and like this video if you enjoy our content. See you in the next video.